Hello and welcome to the old Fliers. In the spring of 1996, one of the most ambitious and unusual marketing projects in aviation history took to the skies. Air France's Concorde, F-BTSD, known as Sirra Delta, was temporarily repainted in a vivid cobalt blue Pepsi livery as part of Pepsi's global Project Blue rebrand. The aircraft, instantly recognisable for its sleek, needle-like shape, now carried the bold Pepsi logo across its fuselage and tail, and I'll drink to that. For several weeks it toured major cities in Europe and the Middle East, hosting media and VIP flights. It was a spectacular sight and a daring collaboration between engineering prestige and consumer branding. Yet behind the beauty of the blue jet lay a technical limitation that few outside the project knew. This Concorde could not safely reach its full Mach II cruising speed. Pepsi paid millions to paint Concorde in its iconic blue livery, but the passengers who paid first-class fares to fly the iconic jet got a much slower and shortened ride as the blue paint heated the jet so much it was allowed to fly at Mach II speed for a mere 10 minutes or so. Concorde's original white paint was not chosen for design flair, but for performance. At speeds of up to Mach II, the aircraft skin was subjected to intense frictional heating. Engineers used a special highly reflective white paint that helped dissipate heat efficiently. It was a vital part of Concorde's design philosophy, keeping the airframe within safe thermal limits during long supersonic flights across the Atlantic. Pepsi's striking blue, however, was a different story. Dark colours absorb far more heat than they reflect, and when tested on Concorde's aluminium skin, this quickly became a problem. The engineers at Air France Industries and Aerospatiale calculated that sustained flight at Mach II with the blue paint would raise surface temperatures dangerously close to the structural tolerance of the fuselage. During its Pepsi campaign, pilots of Sirra Delta were advised not to remain at Mach II for more than about 20 minutes. The aircraft was also cleared to operate freely below approximately Mach 1.7, which meant most of its flight during the promotional tour were planned at subsonic or reduced supersonic speeds. To further protect the aircraft, a clever compromise was made. Only the fuselage received a dark blue finish while the wings remained white. This was not a matter of design balance but thermal management, as the wings housed fuel tanks that acted as heat sinks during high-speed flight. Even with this precaution, engineers observed that the blue-painted panels heated up faster and cooled down more slowly than expected. The short-lived experiment confirmed once again that Concorde's reflective white finish was essential for safe operation at its top speeds. The Pepsi Concorde collaboration was just one part of a massive marketing effort. Pepsi's Project Blue rebrand reportedly cost around $500 million worldwide. Within that global budget, the repainting and eventual restoration of the Concorde were relatively minor expenses, estimated in the low six figures. The launch event at London's Gatwick was a lavish affair that featured celebrity guests, special lighting effects, and international media coverage. For Pepsi, the blue Concorde symbolised the spirit of progress and modernity that the company wanted to project in the 1990s. When the promotional flights ended, a few weeks later, Sirra Delta was repainted in its standard Air France white and returned to normal service. The blue face left only minor traces of overheating near certain seals and window edges, but no lasting damage. The aircraft continued to fly until its retirement in 2003 and now rests at the Air and Space Museum at Le Bourget. The Pepsi Concorde remains one of the most curious moments in aviation history, when the world's fastest airliner briefly traded performance for publicity. It stands as a reminder that even at the cutting edge of technology, the laws of physics always have the final word. Supersonic flight creates fierce aerodynamic heating. At the nose, engineers recorded 127 degrees centigrade. The wing leading edges 100 to 105, while most of the fuselage was 90 degrees centigrade. The jet's airframe was made of hydrolumen RR58, a specialised aluminium alloy. It could tolerate around 127 C for its operational life, which meant pilots carefully managed speed, not for lack of thrust, but to protect the metal from overheating. The Concorde was powered by Olympus 593 Mark 610 engines, an efficient jet engine at Mark II. Concorde carried fewer than 100 passengers in unparalleled luxury, crossing the Atlantic in just 3.5 hours. Life on the flight deck was intense, as Chief Concorde pilot Captain Mike Bannister famously put it: twice as fast, twice as high, and twice as many things to do. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this content, please consider supporting the channel for more stories. And that's left me with a thirst. Cheers.
Initially we're going to be climbing up to 11,000 feet, which is only some 7 speeds. Unfortunately we had a little bit of trouble with one in front on the left-hand side, or 4 on. So that's right, Nigel, the reheat burning, and we're now accelerating quite quickly, rapidly approaching Mach 1, and we're going through the sound barrier. There'll be no sensations or jolts or bangs as we go through the sound barrier from the airplane. So here we go, Mach 1, 30,000 feet, climbing now.
sound at the moment.
Yes.
1,290 miles an hour, 58,000 feet and still climbing.
Excellent. You had a good run today.
Excellent run. Nice cold temperatures outside, make it good for the aeroplane.
Excellent.
Minus 71 degrees centigrade outside, and yet the temperature on the skin of the aircraft's 92, plus 92. That's nearly the temperature of boiling water.
At 60,000 feet.
The other sensation we want to give you is to be at 60,000 feet. So we're climbing rapidly now to through 58,000 feet to 60,000 feet. And once we're there, we'll be starting our deceleration and our descent as we approach the land, and we have to slow down to subsonic speeds as we cross the coastline.
Put it on the tray.
Mind the seat, David, you might come over the top. I have a problem with this one. And you're a good. Compliments to British Airways. There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dropping the nose down to 5 degrees, and we'll fly around on 5 degrees nose position until the final approach when we put the undercarriage down, and the nose goes down to 12.5 degrees for the landing. You'll be putting the engines into reverse thrust, and you'll notice with the braking quite considerable deceleration once we're on the ground. All the way round now onto finals, gradually reducing the speed, and we'll have a touchdown speed today of some 185 miles an hour. So that's much faster than a conventional aeroplane. The delta wing can support the aeroplane at low speeds, but it requires very high pitch attitudes, and our attitude as we make the approach will be some 13 to 15 degrees from the horizontal. So quite a steep attitude, and that sustains the lift over the wing using a type of vortex